morning, everybody, and welcome to Chassidus in the morning. 15 minutes to change our lives. Look at the Sefer Chelek Aleph, Parshas Noach. Okay, so we discussed like this. First, we discussed, just to recap. First, we discussed that in the beginning, that the flood wasn't just a negative thing. It was a purification, and we said it's also like the Maim Rabim, and really like the bothers and concerns that we have in our lives, about finance and making parnasa and just living life that's very stressful. It's really not there as a negative thing, but it's coming to help us connect to Hashem. And the Rebbe said once we realize that's where it's coming from, and we have that perspective, it really helps things and changes things. And then we said even more, in yesterday's class we talked about how even when it comes to spiritual things, meaning the Maim Rabim spiritually, because the waters were from below and from above. So the waters from above, which is spiritual things, meaning I'm bothered, how can I bring more people to Yiddishkeit, and how can I do all these things, and how can I take care of the shul, and how can I have more kids to enjoy learning. But if that takes away from our own Yiddishkeit, and we don't do the thing we need to do on the Shulchan Aruch, so then we're missing the point. And I think it's a very important point that we're learning here, is that how do we know what's the litmus test what we're doing? If it's taking away from our Torah mitzvahs, meaning it's like Lamashal when the mitzvah campaign of tefillin and mitzvah things like this, when it came out. So what happened was Baruch Hu started going in the streets every day. They didn't know for like a week straight, and then after a week they noticed that the Rebbe didn't look so happy about it, and basically they found out the Rebbe was like, "Why are you missing the Seder?" And I think it's this balance that as much as people think that outside Lubavitch, they think that Lubavitch, the only thing they do all day is go miftayim. And Baruch Hu, that's all they do. They don't learn, they do miftayim. But the reality is, it wasn't that way. It wasn't that way. That Baruch Hu still meant to be learning yeshiva, and just like a Baruch Hu learned in yeshiva before the mitzvah campaign of tefillin and every other mitzvah campaign, they learned all day. So too now they learn all day. It's just on the free time they do all these things. And so too with us. Meaning, we have to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves properly. Our Torah mitzvahs are done the way they're meant to be. And we, of course, there's a balance when you're a mother with kids, but that's halachically. Halachically discusses what you can and can't do and how to fit that all in. But we have to make sure that we can't patter ourselves and say, I don't need to daven, I don't need to learn, and we all do this, we just don't recognize it, and that's sort of the right. We have to find out the ways that we're doing it, and where can we fix it. Like, I don't have time to learn. And like I said about that shliach, that he, until 1 o'clock, I think it is, he doesn't, he's a bach in yeshiva, so to speak. And he's very successful. He's buying a building, I heard, for $4 million. And so it works. He can do this. Everyone according to their level, we can't always just be someone else, be ourselves. We realize this. We have to understand where is this playing out in our lives. So now the Rebbe is going to give us the solution. Today, the solution. Ois hey. Hatrufa, the mehamabul, the medicine. What's the medicine to fix it? To fix this issue. Hey, shelter him, Rabbah, whether it's coming from the depth, the water from the depths, the Maim Rabbim, physical and financial things. Hey, shel, Arvis Shemaim, and whether it's coming from the spiritual issues that are affecting us and confusing us. What's the solution? What's the medicine? Ba elateva, come to the ark. That's what Hashem told Noach. He goes, "Ba elateva, come to the ark." So the question is, what does it mean? Come to the ark. You should go to the ark. So teva. So the literal meaning teva is an ark, but the Baal Shem Tov explained the Parshas Baal Shem Tov teva's Torah tefillah. It doesn't mean teva like the ark, but teva is the letters, the words of davening and learning, and that's the solution. Ba elateva al ha'adam lava el toich ha'toisis ha'teva tefillah, on the person to come to davening and learning. Liyois mukaf behen, to be surrounded, encompassed by them. For us, and when you're encompassed and surrounded by Torah mitzvahs, when you have that as your forefront, that axiom, vaz kayim habatachen shanar leishtafu v'nechish tzadik u'bnei beisav yishar b'shlei musam. Then you cause that you become these rivers, that are raging rivers won't wash away the love, and will be like Noach is tzaddik. Noach was a tzaddik. Will be in our righteousness, and we'll have not just for ourselves, but he says b'nei beisav, in our families and all our kids and everything that comes afterwards. Yishar b'shleimus, will stay in completeness. And this is sort of what he's saying, that, it's like, unfortunately, sometimes I've had people talk to me and tell me how sometimes a person could be an amazing person. It's unfortunately happens with maybe fathers a little bit more than mothers, but they're like, for everyone, he's the greatest person, but at home, he didn't have time for us. And this is sort of what we're saying. We could be making this mistake. And he's saying the knowledge that we have to make sure that our action is Torah and Tefillah, meaning is taking care of ourselves as well. It's very important that we don't just go to help the whole world and be the best person for everyone else, but not for ourselves and not take care of ourselves. And that's what we're saying. Take care of yourself. And how you take care of yourselves is davening and learning, making sure we have set times every day to daven, to learn, and to these things are the priority. And not just that it's for ourselves, irrelevant of the shlichus that we're doing, or irrelevant of all the things that we're doing to help other people, but it's also part and parcel of helping other people. You can't help other people, like I said before, if you're not taking care of yourself. And this is a very important lesson. And this is what the Lashon is teaching us from this part of Parshas Noach, Be'el HaTeva, come to the letters of Eish. Meaning, I have to connect with learning Torah. And that's what we're saying. You have to have a connection with Torah. It can't be that we just do shlichus and we just help people and we just do, be a good teacher, but I don't learn. Like, it doesn't work for me. We have to figure out a way. Now, of course, if learning is not working and it's not enjoyable, so we've got to figure that out. We've got to deal with that. But it can be done. I did it. I managed. I had a stage that I gave up on learning, and I'm here learning now. So if I can do it, we can all do it. And this is what we're saying. Therefore, Seder Hayom Hu, the order of the day, the way our day starts is miyad shebekum ha'adam mishnasei. Immediately when you wake up in the morning, terem nichnasei las la'esker elam, before we go into the world and go to the business and we go into the outside world and deal with whatever we have to deal with, lamayim azidainim, to these raging waters. What do we say? First thing we say in the morning, moida an lefanecha shechazarta b'nishmasi. And this is going to continue on what we said from last Sikha. You'll see how it goes connected in the Sikha in last week's Parsha. So we say, Moida Ani, or thank you Hashem, or I admit to Hashem, in front of you, Shechazat v'nishmas, you turn to me my neshama. Meaning, who Moida, we admit and we recognize, Shechayus nishmasa, he Rakham Kadosh Baruch Hu, that the life of neshama is only from Hashem. So that's the action we have to start off our day. When we wake up and say, Moida Ani, this is a meditation we're going to have. When we wake up in the morning, we say, Moida Ani, probably half asleep, but he's saying, if you can think about this. When you wake up, you say, Moidani, you say, hey, Hashem is returning me back my neshama. Hashem is giving me back my neshama. What does that mean? It means there's a neighbor, there's Hashem, and and he's giving me my neshama, and he has a mission for me to do, and I have to do these missions, I have to do these things, and I can connect, and I can fulfill the purpose for which I was created. And after we do Moidani, we say morning brachas. We wash our hands, we do everything we need to do. We give thanks and we say thank you to Hashem. I'll call part to part in every single detail. The morning brachas is meant to be on the details of the way, back in the day, they used to say the morning brachas as they did it. They would put on their clothes and they'd say that bracha, and they'd put on do the next thing and then that bracha. And they hear the rooster crowing, they'd make that bracha. That's what we're saying. Malbish arumim, he clothes the naked, v'chulu. L'cheira, harei matzli loy. It's there asks a question here, very interesting part. And this we're going to learn out something very deep, what we talked about last week. He's saying, 1 second. You're coming in the morning, let's say you organize, you set up your clothes. So you say, thank you for giving me my clothes and dressing me. What do you mean? My clothes are here. Like, you didn't do anything, I have them all here all the time. Well, nothing happened. What am I thanking Hashem for? For my clothes that I already have? You're saying, thank you for giving me clothes. The clothes are here. And every day you have to say it. It's not like, you can say maybe the first time, but every day we say this. We already have my clothes. So what's the vart over here? And this is a deep vart, a deep meditation. Barum, it's known, Ezel Chacham, what is a wise person? Harayas Nolad. He sees, it literally means he sees what is born. But it means we see we see ahead, not just immediate, but what's going on. And this is really, to be a Chacham, it's very simple. It's just to think far ahead. What's this is going to do to me? It applies to anything in life. And this is sort of, the Rebbe talks about, how do you know something's coming from the Yetzer Hara, the Yetzer Tov? Ezel Chacham, Harayas Nolad. You say, I want to do this now. I want to eat this now. How is it going to make me feel in 10 minutes, in 20 minutes? I want to do this now. I want to stay up and finish chitas. How is this going to help me tomorrow? What's going to happen tomorrow? Now, of course, we have to finish chitas, but a lot of times the mistake we have is that we push it off. So we have to realize 1 second. Tonight, I'm exhausted and I'm not going to be able to finish it. So tomorrow, first thing in the morning, I have to do this. I have to make sure to go to bed on time. And this is awareness is looking at it in the future. So what's in this case? What is awareness in the? It means me'ayin le'yesh, that everything comes from nothing to something. Meaning, b'chol rega b'rega, every single moment, yedeahu sheb'chol rega mishave hayesh melikus, that we realize and recognize every single moment we exist, because Hashem is making us exist, like we said in last week's Sikha. But he explains this in a little different vart, and let's see if you can pick up the difference. It's the same thing, just the way he explains it a little differently. K'mavur v'zayah explains the Zoya, sherav yasa saba raga hayal ispalo sheyimale hakadosh baruch hu es mizayne gam b'shah shehamazon hu muchan ufanav v'lo hayachel hayachel lifnei atfilah zo. So there's a very interesting story. V'lachayra ma makal atfilah zakasha mazon hakadosh baruch hu b'shah mazon muchan kvar. So this Rav Yesa Saba, he would sit there before he ate. The food is there in front of him. He's sitting there, he's about to eat. What does he say? He says, Hashem, please give me my food. What are you, blind? The food's right in front of you. What is he asking? Well, please give me my food. So what's the answer? It's like we just explained, that everything comes from Yishmael. So he's saying, right now, the food is here, because Hashem is creating it. But in the next second, Hashem doesn't have to create it, and he could stop creating it, and it will go away. So every single moment he's asking Hashem. So what he's saying is, before he starts, even though I know I have the food in front of me, but the food is only coming here because Hashem is letting it be here. So Hashem, please give me my food. He's recognizing before he eats that it's not just some food, that it's the food that has been created from Hashem this very moment. That's what he explains. The creation for itself, every single moment goes back to being nothing. Because like it says, so every single moment we go back to being nothing, but Hashem recreates. So every single moment we're getting recreated. We said it in the last Sikha, that our whole creation just from Malakus, and here we're saying in a little different way, that it's a very, it's in a different way, it's very beautiful. He's saying that right now, I stop existing, and Hashem makes me exist again. And every single moment that happens, Hashem says, you exist now, right now, and he keeps on making that every single moment. Like it says, Hamachadish b'tuvay, he makes new in his kindness, b'chol yom, every day, tamid, constantly, the Ma'aseh Bereshis, creation. V'lachein, yesh tzorech b'tefillah b'kasha gam kishamaychel muchan al shulchan. And therefore, when the food's in front of you, you can still make this bracha, and they should make the bracha. V'chein b'shat tzorech adam. Any other needs are we asking for? We have the clothes in front of us. What are we asking for clothes? Because Hashem is recreating these clothes every single moment. Mishum shamaychel mitzad atzmai nefach kol regel ein nefesh. Because the food by itself, every single moment, stops existing. Ukadesh yiyeh la'adam amar lechel. In order for us to be able to eat, yesh lehispalo levakish makadosh baruch hu sheichadash hamechel zeh ma'in leyesh. That we have to ask every single moment Hashem should make it to continue to exist, and not go back to its nature, which is non-existence. And this is such a beautiful idea. Like that was the philosophy, and the preface of this davening, Teich HaYediyah, with the knowledge, shehagashmi kishalatzmai ein lo kiyum klal, that the physicality by itself has no real existence. Because Hashem needs to constantly make it created. Just like the rock flying in the air is not natural. The rock naturally doesn't go up. Naturally it's down. So if it's going up, it's because there's a force constantly putting it up. Once that force goes away, it goes back to nature, which is down. And in our case, physicality by itself, the nature is that it doesn't exist. And the only reason why it's existing is because there's a force being pushed into it to make it exist. Ushemitzius ha'olam hirak kedei, in the whole existence of the world, is only lahashlim esakavana l'yena, to fulfill the ultimate purpose, l'chabdai b'reisav, and to honor the creations. Meaning, yesh na efsharos la'asek minyan ha'olam imibli l'chshosh mi'amayim zaynim. So when we recognize, and we'll stop here for today, and when we recognize that that every single moment this is happening, and the whole purpose of this happening is for us to show how Hashem is here and reveal the godliness within everything. So therefore, the whole experience is a very different experience. When we're coming to eat, and this is sort of something we should do when we go to eat breakfast today, or lunch, or whatever it is, and everything is this recognition, and we can meditate on this before we start eating. We think to ourselves, hey, every single moment this world is being recreated. Right now, this world is being created. And why? So why did Hashem recreate this food in front of me right now, or whatever it is that we're going to talk about? And we say the reason is because Hashem wants us to make a dibur tachtonim. So when I eat this, have this experience, this eating is a whole different thing. I'm not just eating because it tastes good and because it feels good, or because it's enjoyable, or even because it's healthy. I'm eating because there's a purpose in this eating. Because Hashem wants me to reveal the godliness within this, and that's why He's recreating every single moment. And we realize this, the Rebbe says, so then all the issues go away. Then all the tiras parnasa, the mayim rabim, it goes away. If we don't have all these issues, whether it's from the physical things, or like we said in the spiritual things, Tohaim Rabbah, the waters from above, and this is the meditation for today. When we think about this, our day would be a totally different experience. And this is like just to finish it off, like we said in the Baal Shem Tov, this is what he's saying, that Boel HaTeva, come to the Teva of Torah Tefillah. And we come davening and we learn and we make sure to have a kvius, and this is Baruch Hashem, we got a chance to learn every morning before we go to work, out to our day, and we say Meida'ani, and we daven and we think about all these things and we meditate on all these things we've learned. So then the whole Mayim Rabbim goes away. We should have an amazing day.